But it was a beautiful, patient ride by Brett Prebble, and driving that horse through along the inside and getting there by a short half head. We're just waiting on John Maher to come down. Des O'Keefe, the stable foreman, has already come down. John normally watches the races from the hill stand, so it does take him quite a while to come down. And I remember that from one particular day when I think he won 5 races here one day over the carnival. But Cool Choice lacking nothing in the score of horsemanship after the riding change, with young Brett Prebble driving it through on the rail to win. Second placing going to King Ivor, number 4, Mick Dittman, and third was number 7, and that was Monet's Cove, which was ridden by Rodney Griffiths. And John Maher is about to make his way down. No doubt he's anxious to take a look at the trophy and also the winner's cheque, which in the first event is $48,750, the first race of the carnival. And here's the applause for a fine ride by Brett Prebble, with Sober Affair having taken up the running, and Prebble was forced to sit and wait, and it was a very patient ride. We might just get a word with Des O'Keefe as the horse come back to scale. And the late riding change, well, it didn't cost you anything, Des.
No, Peter, it's a fantastic opportunity for Brett to win the first race Derby Day. It's bad luck for Simon, but Brett just grasped that opportunity he got, made every post a winner and made the difference, winning and losing. That's what we need Derby Day, Peter.
Lovely patient rider, isn't he?
It was a great ride, an aggressive ride when it needed it, but it was a really good, solid win. The happiest man in Hong Kong, who I think will be watching this, is Mr. P.S. Wu. We told him when we took the horse over in March that we'd win a race Derby Day, and we have, so he'll be one very happy man.
Desi, well done.
Good on you, Peter. See you during the week.
Des O'Keefe from the John Maher stable with Cool Choice taking out the first event. We'll take a break. 1:35.4 the time. Back to fabulous Flemington on the first day of the carnival in just a moment.
Welcome back to Amy Derby Day, and for the first time today, and for the first time for a carnival, Des Gleeson will give us correct weight, and he has given us correct weight, and that means we can pay you some money right around the country on Cool Change, King Ivor and Monet's Cove. Danny, divvies please.
Sure, Tim. 3 Cool Choice, $8.10 the win, $2.40 for the place. Second, number 4, King Ivor, $1.60. And third, number 7, Monet's Cove, $4.80. The Quinella has returned $17.60. That's $17.60 the Quinella, and the trifecta $516.90. $516.90 the trifecta, and the Quinella paid $17.60. 347. Fourth, number 2, and fifth in was number 13.
Okay, we just got those numbers wrong, I think, on our Quinella and trifecta. I think Danny's right with his, so make sure you took note of that. Ready for the presentations on the track, here's Rob Gale.
Ladies and gentlemen, first presentation here on our Flemington Cup Carnival, and Mr. J.A. Finning, who of course is representing the VRC here today, and Mr. John Fitzgerald, President of the Carbine Club. I'd like to invite now to begin our presentations.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're delighted at the Carbine Club that William Inglis and Sons, the bloodstock agents, have allowed us to perpetuate the memory of Carbine here at the Carbine Club Stakes again this year. Carbine won 33 times from 43 starts, and the only time that he was unplaced was when he went lame. And one can only hope that some of the young champion horses that we see here today can repeat that sort of performance. I'm delighted to ask Mr. Reg Inglis of William Inglis and Sons to present the trophy to the winning owner, or the representatives of the winning owner. And I'd like to congratulate John Maher and Des O'Keefe for the only horse they've got racing today from Chiquita Lodge, and it's a winner. Thank you very much. Mr. Reg Inglis.
Mr. Fitzgerald, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very great honour to be here this afternoon to be sponsors of this great race. Last year, ladies and gentlemen, you remember that Saintly won. Saintly's gone on to be one of the greatest horses racing in Australia today, and I feel quite sure that the format of this race here this afternoon and Cool Choice will go on to be running in the big races this time next year. Ladies and gentlemen, the owner, Mr. Wu, is unfortunately in Hong Kong and couldn't be here today, but Mr. Des O'Keefe, I'd like him to come forward as his representative to receive the trophy. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Reg Inglis. And Reg Inglis looking absolute picture. Looking $1 million, Reg. And there is Cool Choice, a worthy winner of the first here on Amy Derby Day, and did it in fine style. The second is the Shivers Regal over 1,200 metres with their early thoughts. Here's Peter and Jenny.
Yes, and a winning note for Jenny Chapman starting off there, Jen. Well done.
It was a nice start to the carnival, Pete.
And between us, we got the Quinella, which paid $17 there. So
it enormous, didn't it?
Yeah, it did pay a very big dividend. A lovely ride by Brett Preble too. Now let's look forward to race 2, and the scratchings here are number 7 Apple Danish and 12 Charlie. So we have a field of 10 to run in the second, Jen.
Pete, I like number 4 here, Armadale. I think he's got a terrific chance. He's dropping back from 1,400 metres to the 1,200 metres, and last start he was 3 wide most of the way. It was a terrific effort. Coming back to this distance, he should be right there at the finish. Number 9 Nature only had the 1 start. Was quite a nice effort first up, and I think he can improve. And Spartacus, a very impressive winner at Moonee Valley last start, so him for 3rd.
I've gone for Mighty Way in the race. He's only had the 2 starts and has won twice and was quite impressive, I thought, at Caulfield. Nature, the horse that had beat that you mentioned, is very green, has only had the 1 start, and he'll probably be better on the big track, so I think they might fight it out again. So I've gone 6 to win from 9 here in race number 2. Well, $8 on the tote for Cool Choice. I wonder if the bookmakers had a good result there in the first, and looking forward to the second. Once again in the betting ring, here's Tim Gossage. Tim?
Peter, it wasn't a good result for the bookmakers, that's for sure. They copped an absolute shellacking, in fact, because Cool Choice shortened about 3 points in the last 90 seconds before the race. So either King Ivor or Cool Choice was a bad result for the bookies. In the next, Spartacus has opened up very short. He's the favourite. Armadale's the second pick, and Nature is considered a chance. And Intergaze, I ran into a bloke by the name of Colin McDowell. His brother is a part owner of Intergaze, and he said he hasn't made the trip for nothing.
Just before you go, Tim, are they doing any business on the Derby as yet?
No, just a few bookmakers are having some early markets, not the main rails bookmakers at the moment, Peter. And after the first, I think a few of the bookmakers are going to be eating mushy if the result of the first is any indication.
Well, let's hope that the punters do stay on top. Tim Gossage there. Now it's time to take a look at the tote call. Dan Malecki can run us through race 2.
Regal Centre 14.40, Mushy 16.50, Spartacus favourite 2.40 the winner, $1 for the place. Armadale 7.60, Holtzman 42, Mighty Way at $7.50, number 7 is out, 8 Zubin at 26, 9 Nature $5.40, 10 Our Superboy 10.20, 11 Preston Trail at $45, number 12 is scratching. The Derby, race 5, Amy Victoria Derby at $2.45, and the favourite in the Derby is Alpha. He is looking for his 11th win from 13 starts, and I can tell you that he is at $2.90 and $2.20, still with 144 minutes remaining before the start of the big one at $2.45, Peter.
Righto, Dan, so round about the 2-to-1 mark on the tote for Alpha in the big one, the Amy Victoria Derby, coming up later in the afternoon. But Tim, the next event, race 2, the Shivers Regal, 1,200 metres the journey. We'll be back shortly before the starting time of 12:45.
PD, thank you. Of course, the Melbourne Cup Carnival is just one of the excuses for thousands of people to head to Melbourne for what is really a sensational week. A lot of our crew and guests, me included, are staying at the beautiful Sofitel Hotel. There it is, right up the top end of Collins Street, and it's just magnificent. And already, we've only been here a couple of days, they're looking after us right royally. And that view out of the Cafe La window is just spectacular at breakfast time. And there is the Sofitel in all its glory, and there'll be plenty of that consumed over the next week or so, I can tell you. Isn't it lovely? Beautiful hotel. The Sofitel in Melbourne. We'll take a break. Back soon. The place is absolutely steeped in history. Flemington Racecourse. It's never looked better than it looks today, and I'm sure it looked just as good back then, and that's an awfully long time ago. We're taking these little historical pictures for you. And of course, the race itself, the Derby, older than the Melbourne Cup, and a fine tradition. There's another shot from our lightship, the Whitman's Chockies lightship, and that is Flemington Racecourse. Melbourne in the background, bathed in sunshine and just absolutely perfect. Well, bathed in sunshine down by our Channel 10 marquee. I'm not sure whether she's in it or outside it. Is Sandra Sully with some more guests.
Yes, Tim. Joining me is a very suntanned Scott Michelson, and I'm sure Aussie fans will remember him from his Neighbours days, although he has since moved on, been in the UK for a couple of years. And welcome to Derby Day, and welcome back to Australia.
Yeah, thanks very much. I've been up in Queensland, so that's why I've got the tan at the moment.
Yes, now you need to tell us why. You're working on a series, the series Flipper?
Yeah, that's right. I've been there for about 3 months, and another 3 months to go, and having a lot of fun up there. It's nice to be back in Australia, and great to be here for Derby Day. Beautiful day for it.
So what's it really like working with a dolphin?
Oh, you know, his ego gets out of check sometimes. You've got to watch for that. But apart from that, it's really good, yeah.
Got to keep an eye on him.
Absolutely.
OK, now you love Derby Day. I know you've been to the Cup Carnival and the Spring Carnival quite a few times. Have you got any tips today?
I like the magic of Sydney, but I'm good at losing money, so you probably shouldn't listen to me, really. I'll just see how I go.
OK, now you're going to be catching up with a lot of Neighbours cast this week. They'll all be popping in. And, of course, your girlfriend, Nicola, works on this series. We'll be talking with her on Cup Day. We hope you have a wonderful Spring Carnival, and it's great to see you back in Australia.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sandra.
Thanks, Tim.
Sandy, thank you. You know, it says on the back of this book I'm about to show you that Les Carline is Australia's Damon Runyon, and the racetrack is his world. There's his book, True Grit, Tales from a Decade of the Turf, and the man himself is sitting next to me. Hey, Les.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
I'm very well. How beautiful is this today?
Oh, you don't get any better than this, do you?
I wonder where you started. I mean, you could have written 3 books, couldn't you?
Yeah, they wouldn't have been as good. I started to pull out, Tim, the sort of stuff that wasn't timeless, and tried to keep the timeless ones, you know, the moving pageant, if you like.
Have you kept some sort of a record over the years, or did it all come out of here?
No, I've kept records, but I kicked out, you know, about 2/3 or 3/4 of it because it was good for one day, and tried to keep the pieces that will last. I hope they'll last.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Most of these pieces, of course, readers have read in the Herald and the Age over the years, and various other publications too.
Yes, yes.
What is it, and we were just discussing this, ladies and gentlemen, before we came on television, what is it about this week in Melbourne that makes it so special? Can we bottle it or find out what it is?
I think if you could bottle it, Tim, they'd probably want it in Sydney, wouldn't they? But,
yeah.
But the great thing about Melbourne, and I'm not a booster for Melbourne, but when it comes to sport, there's an enormous warmth in this city, and it's probably one of the great sporting cities of the world. It's not just this, it's the Grand Prix, the AFL Grand Final,
of course,
the lot. Yeah. And I think it's because people, when it comes to sport down here, they're optimists. They want to come, they want to enjoy it, they want to cheer.
Goodness me, 95,000 of them even turned up at the MCG for a rugby league game. And believe it or not, that's the biggest rugby league crowd ever, and it was here in Melbourne.
In Melbourne,
which is an extraordinary thing. And this race course on this day, and we've got a beautiful day for it, you're right. I mean, everyone just seems to want to come because it's a major sporting event in Melbourne.
It is, and the other incredible thing is it's not waned, Tim. In 1880, there were 100,000 here for the Cup. The population of Melbourne then, I think I'm right, was about 340,000. In other words, 1 in 3.
Yeah.
Now, it's a lot more now, but nice day, Tuesday, you'll get your 100,000.
Yeah, well, we hope so. We really hope so. Just quickly, of all the characters you've met in all those years, who's your favourite, or who's the biggest character?
That's easy. George Hanlon.
Yeah?
George Hanlon.
Yeah, without a doubt.
The man who says horses are only human.
Well, I love him too. I think he's right. No, thanks for coming in to join us.
Thank you, Tim.
Les Carline, there's the book. If you love the turf, get a hold of it. True Grit, a decade of tales from the turf. And it's a good read. I've only had a flick through it so far, but I'll read more of it this week. Well, you know, a lot of people eat, drink and be merry, and they're doing that out there right now during this week. But spare a thought for the jocks, especially the heavyweight jockeys who do have a little trouble making the weight, like Simon Marshall.
Simon Marshall spends most of his time wasting, but when he's in the saddle, time is one thing he never wastes. Few jockeys have gone through more torture in recent years. Marshall has fought a battle against nature and the increasing weight which several times has threatened to end his career. Despite limited opportunities and several lengthy suspensions for weight-related offences, Marshall has gained a reputation as a big-time rider with a strike rate the envy of every other jockey. Last spring marked yet another Marshall comeback, and when he won the Hardy Brothers Stakes on Auntie Mary at his first ride back from an extended layoff, it may not have been the biggest win of Derby Day, but it was a personal triumph. Born to be a jockey, Marshall shot to fame at the 1987 VRC Spring Carnival when he won the Ampol Stakes on Warne at the tender age of 16. Now 25, he's won 14 Group 1 races, most notably the Australian Cup on Durbridge.
But Durbridge, a brilliant winner in the Australian Cup. Durbridge does everything right and wins at a length and a half to station.
He won't be in action as often as the lightweight jockeys this week, but Simon Marshall is a heavyweight in every sense of the word.
Yes, and if you follow Simon, he's on Adventurous in the Amy Victoria Derby, and as Peter said in that story, doesn't ride too many because of his weight. But I tell you what, Peter Donegan, when he gets up on one, it's a fair chance of winning.
Yes, indeed, Tim, and we just saw Durbridge winning the Australian Cup, and he used to sing to Durbridge all the way around to relax him.
Yes, well, he's been unlucky in the first, hasn't he? Stuck in traffic, missed out in the first winner here today.
I said to him the other day, because he's riding Court of Honour in the Melbourne Cup, you'll have to learn a longer song, because the Australian Cup was 2,000 metres. He's got to get through 3,200 metres on Court of Honour.
A little bit breathless by the end of it as well.
Might have to be an English song so that the horse knows it.
I'd say so. Just recapping on the first winner, Pete, the owner, Mr. Wu, who he's got a horse in Hong Kong, which was the former champion racehorse in Hong Kong, and he's still racing today, a horse called Helene Star, so he's been a very, very lucky owner.
And, of course, our friends in Hong Kong will be keeping a close eye on the Melbourne Cup telecast. It really is big news over there now. Huge
news, and, of course, they bet on it. They have the last 4 races, including the Melbourne Cup, and the money is always the biggest on the last race because all the punters are trying to get out, so it is very exciting for them over there. Well, the jockeys are coming out of the jockeys' room now as we survey the scene here at Flemington, and the candidates are in the mounting yard for the running of race 2, the Shivers Regal, over 1,200 metres, and let's start them off with Regal Centre, to be ridden by Brian York. Well, this fellow's had one run back in from a break, and back in June, if you go to his win there at Eagle Farm, he had the run of the race there, showed some good speed, and he was just too good in the run home. First up here at his next start, well, it wasn't a bad effort. He ran 5th at Randwick over the 1,000-metre course, stepping up to the 1,200 metres here. I'm concerned about the weight, Pete, 58.5 kilos. What about number 2, Mushy Mushy, Jen? It's had 2 starts back from a fairly lengthy spell and finished down the track in both at Randwick. Yes, I thought it was a fairly ordinary effort 2 starts ago at Randwick, and then had another one at Randwick, ran 7th there. Last start, he drew a bit wide on that occasion, sat wide, but just battled to the line, a little bit disappointing. Really should have finished on a little bit better. Spartacus, number 3, trained by Rick Hall-Lacey and to be ridden by Shane Dye, has won 2 of his last 3, including the Moir Stakes, but both of those wins have been at Moonee Valley. What's he like at Flemington? Well, I don't think it'll worry this horse. He looks a professional racehorse. He goes very fast. I think he's hard to leave out on his performance from Moonee Valley. It was a good, strong win there, and if you're taking trifectas or Quinellas, he's certainly one you've got to put in. Armadale, number 4, finished down the track in the Stan Fox at his last start. Darren Boogman is the rider here. Prior to that, he'd finished runner-up at each of his 3 starts, Jen, and he chased home some smart ones, Paint, Anthems and Intergates. Yes, and this fellow, I'm giving him an excellent chance in this race. 3 wide last start, over the 1,400 metres. It was just too far for him. Dropping back to the 1,200 metres here, it really does look like it's going to suit him right down to the ground. Good jockey on board and a very good chance. Would you think they're flying a bit high here with number 5, Holterman, David Taggart, the rider, last at Caulfield at its last start? Well, his last few runs have been quite poor, Pete, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him improve a little bit. He's dropping back also from 1,400 to 1,200. Another one that I do think will suit a little bit better here. I've gone for Mighty Wayne, number 6, Jen. It did box seat at Caulfield and was a perfect ride that day by Brent Stanley and got the run at the right time, but he looks as though he's a promising type of galloper. He looks very promising, Pete. I think you're absolutely right there. A very professional type of racehorse. Only had the 2 starts, but each time he's got to the line very well. Obviously, it's his acid test here today. This is the toughest opposition he's had to face, but he's there with some chance in the race. And there's the horse that chased him home at Caulfield in number 9, Nature. That was its first start, and well, he's all legs, this fellow, and he was all over the place at Caulfield and did a good job to stick on. Yes, very well bred, this horse. Sat 3 wide and outside the lead at his debut run, and it was a pretty good effort there. There's huge wraps on him, and I would suggest that he would have derived some benefit from that first up run, and no doubt he'll improve here. I think he's there with some chance in the race. And Stephen King and Lee Freedman combined with number 10, our Superboy. He's taking a step up in class, but winning form is good form, and he's won 2 in the bush. Yes, very much a dry tracker, so the suit here at Flemington today is really going to suit our Superboy. It was a very easy win at Penella in a maiden, and then of course he came out and won at along. He has kept on improving. He's not the roughest in the race by any means.
Now, Jennifer, I want you to maintain your perfect record because you got the first winner for us, so let's make it 2 out of 2, please.
All right, Pete, I'm going for number 4, Armadale. I really think the 1,200 metres is going to suit him. He went over the 1,400 last time. It was just too far. Nature, the improving young horse, I think he should improve from his first up run. And number 3, Spartacus, very genuine racehorse.
Mighty Way, number 6 for mine. From number 9, Nature, they fought it out at Caulfield, and I thought they might fight it out again today. The activity has been frantic in the betting ring. Tim Gossage has been down there watching it all, and have they plonked on anything here, Tim?
Well, yes, they have, Peter, in fact, and it is down the bottom, Our Superboy and also Nature. They've come for it, not in big ways, but one has drifted, and that is certainly Armadale. Spartacus is still the standout favourite, and I have, Peter, got an up-to-date betting market for the Derby later in the day. Alpha has opened up at 2-1, Intergaze at 3-1, and the third favourite is Ebony Grove at 6-1. So Intergaze and Alpha quite tight in the market, considering what they were overnight.
Okay, Tim Gossage with that report from down in the betting ring, and it's a very crowded place there, very crowded around the mounting yard here, and all eyes will be looking up to the top of the straight for this race, the Shivers.